garden leader here at the Montrose Metro Community Garden. And with us today we have...
Hi everybody, I'm Bridget Dugnan. I'm the Cook County Commissioner in this area, District 12.
And we also have with us our wonderful summer intern, Jenna.
Hi everyone.
Everyone give a virtual congratulations to Jenna. She just graduated from Loyola University and it's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Great. We're here today to walk you through the community garden and point out the local projects that are happening here in the neighborhood and some ways that you can get involved even during a COVID crisis, where you can come in a socially distanced way and do some volunteer tasks with us here in the garden. Right now we are at the southernmost point of the garden. We're just north of Bertow Avenue and on West Ravenswood Avenue, and we're in what we call the public orchard. And that is because we have a lot of native fruits that are growing here that I'm going to point out along the way. But also in this space we have a lot of different flowers and things that are growing. And so if you are in this area and you see thistles or you see bindweed especially, and you have a pair of gloves with you, we'd love your help in pulling those weeds so that our native flowers can bloom.
Sounds great.
Yeah? All right, we just talked about this one. Bridget, do you remember?
No.
No? This one here is called a Juneberry, or also a serviceberry. A lot of you might have it hiding in your home landscape and not even know it. This plant is so called because the berries are going to be ready in June, and they're going to look like a blueberry and taste like a blueberry, and a plum had a baby. The birds go nuts for it. It's also one of the earliest bloomers in springtime, so it gives a really good buffet to your local pollinators and bees. And it's also got a lot of high vitamin C content, so it's perfectly edible to you as humans, and is absolutely delicious. So if you want to take a walk with us, we're going to work our way north, and I'll point out some other plants along the way.
It's a Juneberry.
The Juneberry, you got it. This guy here, and I don't know if you can see it at home, but it is absolutely covered with bugs right now. And they are actually our local native bee population who are enjoying it. This is Aronia berry. If you were to know it at home, it would be called a chokeberry. It has an enzyme in it that makes your mouth dry out if you eat it fresh. However, after a frost or after cooking, it's really delicious and considered a superfood. So right now it's our local bee buffet, and eventually it will be a person buffet, which will be really great. I really hope you can see these bugs. They're really cute. We're going to walk slow so that Lori, our camera operator, doesn't fall, which is really fun. Bridget, this bench was put in by the Greater Westtown Training Partnership. Have you heard of them?
Yes, I have.
They teach local people how to be carpenters and to work in a wood trade. And they will provide benches and pergolas to local nonprofits as part of their training program, which is really cool.
That's cool. We're going to get one of these for one of the local folks in a little bit further west.
Oh, I love it. They're really great. If you have a nonprofit, go for it. Over here, hanging out down at the ground level, among some massive zinnias that are going to be coming up, these are gooseberries. And gooseberries are also native to our area. They're very, very thorny, so please be careful when you're harvesting them. Right now they're flowering. They'll be ready towards the end of, well, probably end of June with this spring. And they're absolutely delicious. Just if you come to harvest gooseberries, make sure that you are wearing gloves because they'll be very thorny. And the cool thing about this is that this space is open to the public. All of these fruits are just available for you to be able to come and pick. So even if you're not a member of our garden plots, you can still be a part of the garden and enjoy everything that we have to offer.
What are these?
That one is a weed, but the red one next to it, do you see it with the real scarlet foliage? Yeah, that one's called penstemon, and it is a really, 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 really beautiful flower that'll grow with a spire about yay high over the course of the summer. Right now it is growing inside our pathway, and we'll be moving it to this space. But in the meantime, it's getting a good start from our rain.
What about this?
That is indigo, which will be really growing beautifully. The Latin name is called Baptisia, and it will get about 3 feet wide and about 4 feet high, and then get these flower spires on it that are like 1.5 feet long and just absolutely beautiful purple.
Is that what you can pluck off and then boil and
use
then
as
dye
natural
fabric?
dyes. Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
cool.
Yeah, which is pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's a good game all around. We also have a lot of milkweed that grows in this area of the garden. So the birds and the butterflies and everything goes really crazy. Big penstemon patch here. Also some bleeding heart. Believe it or not, there is a form of bleeding heart that's native to Illinois. Very fun. And some more of that indigo growing here. Cool. going to do a quick turn past these tulips and show you that also hiding in the garden right now are some strawberries. They hide along the pathway, so if you don't walk this path, you will not know that they exist. But we had a lot of our gardeners who were trying to grow strawberries in their plots, but it really takes a couple years for them to get going. These are now in their second summer, and so you can see now they're blooming like crazy. But the first year they don't do as well, and we wanted to be able to offer it to a greater amount of people and have a more dedicated space so that if somebody had a plot for like 1 year, they'd still be able to enjoy strawberries from that. Yeah. All right, we're gonna move along just a little bit further because I want to show you a couple more plants. This one right here, hanging out beautifully on the side with these nice ridged leaves. This is an American hazelnut. So there's two kinds of hazelnuts in North America. One grows in a tree form and one grows in this bush form. The bush form is native to our region in the Midwest. The tree form lives on the coasts in like Maine and Oregon and that kind of thing, which is kind of fun. They will bloom. They have a really fun, crazy looking flower. So if you come by here later in the summer, be sure to take a look at them. And the nuts grow in between the flowers, and then in the fall they'll open up and all the hazelnuts will come out so that people can enjoy them.
Oh, cool.
So if you ever wanted to try it, go for it.
Both sides.
We're coming up on our bees. So we have a total of 5 beehives in the summertime. These bees are installed by a local neighbor who helps to take care of them. And this is the first hive here for the spring. The rest will be coming shortly. You can see they're very happy today to be going out and getting all of our pollen.
Very active.
They're so active. They are the Italian honeybee, so you can say ciao whenever you see them. But it also means they're very nice and extremely domesticated. These bees will hang out with us for the season. In the fall, we will do a honey collection, and that honey is then sold at Spokane Cafe as a fundraiser for the garden. So if you are a person who believes in the power of local honey, you have a way to get your hands on it, which is really fun. Growing next to it on both sides here are our currants. These are red currants. They are also native to our region as well as a lot of Europe. They're really common in like Ukrainian cooking and also in a lot of Swedish foods, which is really fun. But not many people know that they're native to our region as well. We have over 40 of these currant bushes on the property, and we can pick them by the gallon when they are ready, coming up at the end of the season, which is really fun.
They really love this space, you can tell.
They're so happy. We've almost done nothing to them. We're gonna have to start pruning them next year, but you can just see like how dense these blossoms are. They are going gangbusters in there, and all of those are gonna end up being a berry. You can see the berries are starting to form, which is really fun. If you are looking to volunteer with us in this space, there are a few things that we could really use your help with. One of them is this plant here. This beautiful beast is Creeping Charlie, which so many of you with lawns at home will know is an absolute menace. It decided to join the garden last fall, and already you can see the amount of growth of it behind us. It grows really, really fast, and it's very, very, very easy to pull. So if you are able to come and join us and pull some Creeping Charlie, we would really love it. We have a couple other plants that are a little bit annoying for us. There's a lot of thistles. I'm trying to look for one in this area, and of course it's hiding. But the thistles also will come in really prevalently. If you're here and you have a pair of gloves, please help pull them. It'll help us to keep the space cleaned.
They're very spiky.
And then there is one more that is hanging out. Oh, this is a really good example of it hiding behind this pole. This one here. You can see its leaves have a very distinct little shape on it. It kind of looks like a caladium or an elephant ear. And it's got these vines that come out in all directions. This is a menace. This is called bindweed. And bindweed lives by being kind of a parasite to other plants. And will seek out the next nearest plant. And it will go around and around and around it, kind of like a boa constrictor, until it literally chokes the plant and blocks out its sunlight. So it's a really dangerous plant to have. It's really misleading because when we get into June, it'll have the cutest little flowers. I forgot to tell you all that if you have any kind of tea or water or coffee or any other beverage nearby, you could have a really fun hydration game while we do this if you take a drink every time a train goes by, because we're in between the Brown Line and in between the Union Pacific Metro. It's pretty crazy.
This is a cool statue.
This was done by a local sculptor. Her name is down here, and it's named what do you got?
Margaret Lanterman.
Margaret Lanterman. It was donated to the garden, and we had a local neighbor who helped pay for the installation of it. It's titled Nesting Loft because the goal is eventually that it is here long enough that the birds become accustomed to it and use it as a place to nest. It hasn't happened yet, but it's still early days, and who knows what'll happen over time.
Great.
Yeah. So I think, Bridget, did you have any questions about this part of the garden?
I just love how it's just still May and it is so green and it's already so well established. I feel like you can tell that you guys have been doing a lot of weeding and a lot of nurturing. It looks just very well cared for and loved. So it's just so nice to be out here. It's so relaxing. And then look for some of the things that you can pull. And you know what, if people are out here by themselves though and they're pulling some of the weeds that you just identified, what should they do with them?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. If you're pulling things like bindweed especially, or this creeping Charlie that is so invasive to our area, it's actually best not to put that in our compost bin. The best thing to do is actually bring it back with you from home and put it in there and throw it away, because if you do set that in our compost bin or just drop it somewhere in a pile, it will find a way to regrow from the roots, and then we have the same problem all over again. So if you're capable of doing it, we'd really love your hands with this portion of the project. We're in our 4th summer. You can see how much things have grown and blossomed, and it's gonna outlive all of us if we just take the time now to do the care on these weeds, which would be nice. Eventually, everything will be covered in perennials. We won't have the competition because the weeds won't be able to get the sunlight they need to grow. But in these earlier years, we need all the help we can get.
Yeah. What is this? It looks like something you'd find in Arizona.
It is a sedum. And I don't think this one is necessarily native to Illinois. It was a donation to us. But it is considered an autumn joy sedum. It'll get about 1.5 feet high, and then it will get a really pretty flower on it in the fall. But we do have a lot of native stone crops and relatives of the sedum family as well. I just think that this one is just more ornamental, which is nice. But yeah, it is lovely. Yeah. And if you want to do a quick turnaround, we're going to show where we're walking to, but then we're going to take a quick intermission and take you down to where our vegetable plots are. But if you are here on your own and you walk this space, you're going to see repeats of all the plants I just discussed, and you'll be able to harvest even more.